this live? Can you guys hear me okay? Yes. I am the anti-speaker today because I could come in here and I could talk about the amazing things that you guys are doing. Last night, unfortunately, I stayed a little bit too late at the party, and it was fun, but now I'm paying for it today. So I want to start out by saying we are at a very pivotal time. Everybody's making these amazing projects, whether they're NFTs or whether it's DeFi or DePIN or whatever it is that you think is going to be the next thing. I have a challenge for all of you. You're not decentralized. I know it's hard to hear, and I know people don't want to hear it, especially in this space. If you're running a project and AWS goes down and your project goes down, you have a point of failure that is critical to your entire development. If you say you're blockchain and you say you're decentralized, you need to spread it around. So, I'm here today to talk to you about FluxCloud and FluxEdge, two products that we are working on bringing out right now. As a matter of fact, you can download it today and you can use it today to assist with projects to deploy decentralized infrastructure. Over the next couple minutes, I'm going to talk about what Flux is, what Flux does, and why is Flux important. Very Apple-esque. But it's important to see this very quickly. What did we learn from this video? We learned that Flux provides the infrastructure for you to build your companies on, to build your products on. We offer front ends, back ends, web servers, game servers. We have WordPress that recently developed. So if I told you, as a leader in your business model, you can be completely decentralized and it's going to cost you pennies on the dollar. It's super logical, and that is Flux. Flux is a decentralized backbone, essentially what it is. If you think Bitcoin, you think peer-to-peer. Flux connects the people that need compute resources with the people that have compute resources. We created a peer-to-peer network that allows these projects to work back and forth symbiotically. So, well over 13,000 nodes now, 101 total cores, 263 terabyte of storage space, 6.8 petabytes, and this is an old presentation. It's much more than that now. It's geographically dispersed. I mean, it is a global, and if you go to the website and look at it, there's dots everywhere. So our business model and the way that we approach this is we want to become a holistic product for people in the blockchain space and in the standard tech sector. So when people talk about legacy technology, let's say the AWSs of the world or the Microsoft Azures of the world, we work with a project called Lumen. Lumen's huge, but they understand the value add that Web3 and decentralized private internet brings to the table. And they partnered with us very early on to help to develop some things for them. WordPress, completely decentralized. You can deploy your website in an uncensorable manner on Flux. That means nobody's going to come in arbitrarily and say, I don't like your political affiliation, or I don't like what you believe in, or this is offensive to me. Tough shit. Once it's on Flux, it's on Flux. Can't call the dogs back once they're released. Flux has a marketplace, again, connecting people that need compute resources with people that have compute resources. So why is there a Flux advantage? What makes this better than an AWS, or what makes this better than a Microsoft Azure model? Redundancy. Flux's uptime for 7 years is 99.999%. That means it hasn't gone down in 7 years. Security. Oh, the other thing with redundancy, when you deploy something on AWS, you deploy it on one instance. And if you want additional instances, guess what? Get out of the checkbook. With Flux, you immediately deploy to 3 releases that are redundant at all time. If one goes down, your other 2 are up, and they're globally dispersed. We have the security piece. We have our own version of IPFS, Interplanetary File System. I'm not going to try to explain that because that's a presentation in itself. And we also have additional layers of security on that. We're code agnostic. One of the biggest questions that I get is, how can I participate in DPIN or Web3? Do you know how to code? Yes. Then do it. Because if you can Dockerize it and containerize it, you can deploy it on Flux. If it was written in Python, JavaScript, Java, whatever it is, you can deploy it on Flux. Decentralization. It's based on the blockchain. We have a layer 1, which is a fork of BTC. We have our layer 2, which is our node network, which provides enterprise-grade infrastructure. It's huge. So basically code agnostic, anyone can develop on it, anybody can deploy on it. No KYC. We have what's called a Zell ID, which is your pseudo-anonymous ID. So we do not collect data. We're not going to harvest your data. We're not going to look at your data. As a matter of fact, no user data is ever exchanged. It's between you and your deployment. It's, again, a big one, and we're seeing this recently, censorship resistant. Justin Trudeau, if you're listening, we're coming. There'll be a news network deployed on Flux, and if you can get to a website, you can get to your news. Watchtower. Whoever deploys these things, we've put pieces in there for application updates so they happen automatically. We want to make this user experience feel like Web 2. That's what creates adoption. We'll hear a lot of presentations today, and they'll talk about a lot of different things, but really at the core of it all is we have to get people to adoption, or we lose. The way to do that is to create our value add. If you're going forward with your project and you're doing arrays or you're doing something like that, and they say, where's your infrastructure located? And you tell them, I got 2 servers, one under my computer over here and one on AWS, that doesn't cut it. Get to Flux now. For instance, Flux, one of our deployment pricing, if you deploy a 4 virtual core, 16 gig of RAM, 160 gig hard drive on 3 servers, 3, okay? It's gonna cost, well, wait a minute. This is on 1 server. $426 on Google Cloud, $236 on AWS, and 3 deployments for $14.16 on Flux. That's like a no-brainer. And I'm not saying everybody has to rip the Band-Aid off overnight and just move to DPIN. What I am saying is that you can load balance and work between the 2. Our house of products continues to grow. And people, one of the things that I hear often is people say, why have I never heard about Flux before? It's by design. When we started out the project 7 years ago, we agreed as a team that we would build a product that when people went to use it, it actually fucking worked. Because let's face it, we're not Coinbase. We're not gonna go down at all-time highs. And by the way, Coinbase, if you're listening, will help you. We have to build products that people want to use. And the user experience to get to the next level is to have it with the creature comforts. When my wife goes to the ATM, she puts her number in, she takes her money, she drives off. She doesn't give a shit about the entire network that facilitated to make that happen. We need to make them feel like this is just another product. And once you take that crypto mentality out of it and you just create a product, you're gonna see the adoption really start to move. So we built an entire suite. It's very hard to say you're decentralized if you're using Google two-factor authentication. It's hard to say that you're decentralized if you're using Google infrastructure in the background. It's hard to say you're decentralized if you're storing your files on Dropbox or OneDrive. We have FluxCloud, which is essentially Dropbox on the blockchain, and there are Flux Drive and Flux Drive Pro. We have a marketplace that allows everybody to park their compute resources and make more money. It's part of our proof of useful work initiative. So right now, as it stands today, we have 2,000, that's probably closer to 3,000 right now. We have over 300,000 in Flux reoccurring revenue in year one. And if anybody's doing math, all-time high on Flux was $4.40. So we're doing good. We're actually rev-genning. We've had a 625% increase in our customer growth. And our node utilization has went up 62%. There isn't a project out there today that's in the blockchain space that could not benefit from running on Flux. KDA runs nodes to help basically be a wetland for their network. You can absolutely deploy your node infrastructure. If we're talking about Ethereum nodes, OFAC-sanctioned nodes, people are coming after node providers. Flux was built for that. We have 25 developers working specifically on the FluxCloud ecosystem, over 200 plus GitHub contributors. We have a daily transaction of about 92,000 transactions. To put that in perspective, Litecoin has about 100. We've passed Litecoin many times in terms of transaction, which is pretty impressive when you think about it. These are the projects that are running on Flux: Minecraft, TeamSpeak, and Shroud, Palworld, Vellum. Well, you get it. And we even have our AI component with over 2,000 plus applications. You know, you hear a lot of people talk. Google's mantra many years ago was "Don't be evil." Flux's mantra is "Don't be evil" again. We're seeing, and they don't like that too, by the way. We're seeing that we need to change the paradigm. And you guys here are early adopters. Our roadmap for the next several months is we're working on our SSP wallet release, Flux Core beta. I'm not going to read them all. Take a screenshot if you want. Proof of use of work release in Q2 with Operation Lockbox, which is another product we're releasing. And then we're going to have a Cypherpunk event in Q3. If you're interested in coming to one of our Cypherpunk events, I highly recommend you do it. Scott did a fantastic job, just a killer bang-up job. We got a really good time, and George and his team, it was really fun. We were down in Fort Lauderdale. So today, you guys get to be the first ones to see it. This is our flagship product for 2024 FluxEdge. So let me explain the difference between what Flux Core is and what FluxEdge is. And you guys are so early, you get to know them as both, because eventually it all becomes FluxEdge. Flux Core is an application that allows people to simply plug their graphics card into and become part of a useful work network. They can mine crypto, and they can wait to be utilized for AI rendering, edge compute, whatever it is. Millions have been spent on hardware and wasted resources. By show of hands, how many people are miners in here? How many graphics cards you got laying under your desk? I mean, it's a lot. So we want to take those cards that are just chilling out there and we want to put them back into the pool. Our biggest hurdle that we have in this technology moving forward is figuring out how to bridge the need for AI. People talk a lot about what AI can do for you. And the young lady that was up here earlier, great presentation. And AI has a lot of potential. AI also has some major glaring issues. So the compute resources spent to create AI will have to be rivaled by a product that will tell you whether or not it is AI. And that's why we created Project Mayhem. Project Mayhem will be the antithesis, will be the polar opposite of what AI is. You know, my daughters are in college. How many of those papers are ChatGPT driven now? So whether it's written, close to an election, what if a video comes out? People can't tell the difference. As AI generates, it leaves breadcrumbs. We're creating a product that will use the exact same compute resources that people are using to generate AI to detect whether or not it's bullshit. We're going to unlock the idling power of thousands of data centers around the world. Most data centers are running at about 25% capacity. They could easily provide that compute resources back and make money on their downtime. You want to earn and empower, turbocharge your workflows, and also create your global network. I'm running late, guys, so you'll just have to take a picture there. It becomes a seamless setup. And this is why you've never heard of Flux. Because we have spent 7 years of our time as a community, as a team. I've dedicated my life to this, to being a fully holistic ecosystem. Everything is perfectly in harmony. Whether it's cloud storage, RAM, network, CPU, whatever it is, it's all working together. And of course, graphics cards as well. One of our goals was to create a sustainability design, environmental impacts, social benefits, governance, and community. We take away the argument from everybody that goes out there and says, mining and crypto is an energy waste. Bullshit. It's not. And we're going to make sure that we work on that. We actually identified 2 UN initiatives and aligned them as well. Take away the argument. And this is FluxCore. This is the product that you load on your desktop. Feels very like, I don't know if anybody used Napster back in the day, right? But it feels like Napster. It feels like it has a very easy user interface. There's 2 versions. You got your FluxCore and you got your FluxEdge. One is Enterprise FluxEdge. That's the people that are buying the compute. And one is FluxCore that's running the compute. We take absolutely every effort to use every piece of your graphics card. We let no stone unturned. There is strength in numbers. If you listen to Elon, he bought 10,000 A100s. They're building out their AI army. We don't have to. We just turn on our computer. And this is the mining overview for anybody that's into mining. So right now that's mining Flux, and it'll show you all your statistics and everything going on. This is the edge. This is the marketplace. So very close to appearance. We want it to feel the flow of it to be very easy and very simplistic. And basically you can sign up and you can start to run AI rendering projects, whatever you want to do on here. This is our dashboard for our AI model. This is our business hub where you can see who's using it. You can run TensorFlows. You can run Jupyter Notebook, all that kind of good stuff. In closing, I'll say this. You guys can listen to what I said today, and you guys can take it to heart. Don't take 7 years like I have to make it come to reality. We built the tools for you guys. And all I'm asking is every single one of you in this room, when you leave here today, don't be evil again. Thank you.
Are you